Listen carefully, because this might be uncomfortable to hear. Sometimes the reason people keep disrespecting you is not because they are stronger, smarter, or better than you. It is because somewhere along the way, you allowed it to happen, slowly, quietly, without even realizing it. Disrespect does not always arrive with loud words or obvious insults. It often slips into your life in small, silent ways. In the moments you choose to ignore, the things you laugh off, and the behavior you keep excusing. And over time, what once felt wrong starts to feel normal. That is where the real danger begins. Because once disrespect becomes normal, it starts shaping how others see you, and even worse, how you see yourself. There is a truth most people never talk about. Respect is not given once and kept forever. It is constantly tested in conversations, in relationships, in small daily interactions that seem harmless on the surface. And the moment you stop noticing these tests, you start losing control over how people treat you. This is not about blaming you, it is about waking you up, because many people go years, even their entire lives, feeling undervalued, overlooked, and emotionally drained without ever understanding why. They think they are being kind, patient, or understanding, but in reality, they are tolerating behaviors that slowly break their confidence from the inside. What makes this even more dangerous is that not all disrespect looks the same. Some forms are so subtle that they feel almost invisible. They hide behind jokes, behind silence, behind excuses that sound reasonable at first. And because of that, most people never call them out. They brush them off. They tell themselves it is not a big deal. But these small moments add up. They build a pattern, and patterns create reality. A reality where your voice is ignored, your feelings are dismissed, and your presence is taken for granted. There are patterns that psychology has studied for years, patterns that explain why certain people become easy targets for disrespect while others naturally command respect without saying much. It is not always about confidence on the surface. It is about boundaries, the invisible lines that tell others how far they can go with you. And when those lines are unclear or constantly moved, people notice. Not consciously, not always intentionally, but they notice. Human behavior adapts quickly. When someone sees that there are no consequences for crossing a line, they will cross it again and again, each time going a little further. In this video, you are going to uncover 5 specific types of disrespect that you should never tolerate, not because you want to control others, but because you want to protect your own value. These are not the obvious ones that everyone talks about. These are the subtle, everyday behaviors that slowly chip away at your self-respect without making noise. The kind of disrespect that hides in plain sight. The kind that most people miss until it is too late. And once you see them clearly, you will not be able to unsee them. Each one will reveal something deeper, not just about others, but about your own patterns, your own reactions, and the silent signals you may be sending without realizing it. This is where things start to change, because awareness creates power. The moment you recognize these behaviors, you begin to shift the way you respond, and the way you respond changes everything. People may not admit it, but they constantly adjust their behavior based on what you accept and what you reject. That is a lesser-known reality of human interaction. Respect is not negotiated with words. It is established through patterns. By the end of this video, you will not just understand these 5 types of disrespect, you will start to see where they exist in your own life, in your friendships, in your family, in your work environment. You will notice things that once felt normal, but never truly felt right. And more importantly, you will understand why allowing even one of these behaviors can open the door to more. Because disrespect rarely stays small. It grows, quietly at first, then all at once. There is also something most people do not realize. The moment you stop tolerating certain behaviors, your entire environment begins to shift. Some people will respect you more. Some will distance themselves. And that shift can feel uncomfortable at first. But it reveals something important: who values you and who only stayed because it was easy to take advantage of your silence. This is not about becoming cold or distant. It is about becoming aware and choosing yourself in moments where you used to stay quiet. Stay with this till the end, because the last type of disrespect is the one most people completely overlook, yet it has the strongest impact on your life. It is the kind that keeps you stuck in cycles you do not fully understand. And once you recognize it, it changes the way you see people forever. If you are ready to stop feeling overlooked, if you are ready to understand the silent patterns that shape how people treat you, then you are in the right place. Welcome to the channel. If this kind of content speaks to you, make sure to subscribe, stay connected, and be part of a space where you start seeing things differently. Not all disrespect is loud. Some of it is quiet, subtle, and dangerous. It does not shout at you. It does not always insult you directly. It shows up in pauses, in delays, in small actions that seem harmless at first. And because it is not obvious, it slips past your attention. You let it go. You tell yourself it is nothing, but over time, these small moments start to form a pattern that slowly changes how people treat you. And the hardest part is this: when disrespect is quiet, it becomes easy to doubt yourself. You start wondering if you are overreacting. You question your feelings. You stay silent even when something feels wrong deep inside. This is where it begins to affect you in ways you may not even notice at first. You start feeling ignored, like your presence does not really matter. You speak, but people do not fully listen. You try to express yourself, but your words feel like they disappear before they land. That feeling builds up. Slowly, it makes you feel smaller. Not physically, but emotionally. You begin to hold back. You start thinking twice before saying something. You filter yourself. And then comes the overthinking. You replay conversations in your mind again and again, trying to understand what went wrong. You look for mistakes in your own behavior. You start blaming yourself. Maybe you said too much. Maybe you said too little. Maybe you were not interesting enough. And without realizing it, you take responsibility for something that was never yours to carry. This cycle continues until it becomes normal. You adjust to it, you adapt, but deep down, it drains you, it lowers your confidence, it changes how you see yourself. And the most dangerous part is that you begin to accept it. You stop expecting better. You settle for less. That is why recognizing these patterns is so important, because the moment you see them clearly, you break the illusion. You understand that it was never about you being less, it was about what you allowed to continue without question. If you learn to recognize these 5 types, everything will change. You will start noticing things that you once ignored. You will see behavior for what it truly is, not what you hoped it was. And that awareness will give you something powerful, the ability to respond differently. Not with anger, not with aggression, but with clarity. And clarity changes everything. The first type is being ignored repeatedly. Not once, not occasionally, but consistently. Messages left unanswered for long periods without reason. Conversations where your words are brushed aside. Moments where you speak and it feels like no one is really listening. This kind of silence sends a message even when no words are spoken. It tells you that your time is not important, that your voice does not need attention, and when it happens again and again, it creates a pattern of invisibility. You start feeling like you are always waiting for a reply, waiting for acknowledgement, waiting to feel seen. Silence can be peaceful in the right context, but in relationships, repeated silence can be a form of disrespect. It is not about constant communication, it is about basic acknowledgement. When someone consistently ignores you, they are showing you where you stand in their priorities. The second type is jokes that hurt. These are the comments that are disguised as humor, the ones that make others laugh while leaving you uncomfortable. When you react, you are told it was just a joke. You are made to feel like you are too sensitive, but deep down, you know it did not feel right. Because real humor does not leave a mark. It does not embarrass you in front of others. It does not target your insecurities. Hidden insults often hide behind laughter because it makes them easier to deny. But the effect is real. It chips away at your confidence. It makes you question yourself. Respect does not disguise itself as pain. If something consistently hurts you, it is not harmless. It is a pattern that deserves attention. The third type is broken promises. Words that sound sincere in the moment but are never followed by action. Plans that are made but never kept. Commitments that are delayed again and again. At first, you give the benefit of the doubt. You understand that things happen. But when it becomes a habit, it sends a clear message. It shows a lack of respect for your time and your expectations. Words lose their value when they are not backed by action. And when someone continues to break promises, it creates uncertainty. You stop trusting what they say. You feel like you are always waiting for something that may never happen. Actions reveal true respect. Not what someone says, but what they consistently do. The fourth type is talking over you. This happens in conversations where you are constantly interrupted, where your thoughts are cut off before you can finish, where your opinions are dismissed without real consideration. It may not seem serious at first, but over time it sends a message that your voice does not matter. You begin to speak less. You hesitate. You second-guess your thoughts, and slowly you start to disappear from conversations that you should be part of. Everyone deserves to be heard. Communication is not just about speaking, it is about listening. And when someone refuses to listen, it shows a lack of respect for your presence. The fifth type is only showing up when they need you. This is one of the most common and most overlooked forms of disrespect. The relationship feels one-sided. You are there when they need support, when they need someone to listen, when they need help. But when you need the same in return, they are absent, busy, unavailable. The effort is not equal. The energy is not mutual. Over time, it starts to feel like you are being used, not in an obvious way, but in a subtle emotional way. You become a source of comfort for them, but they are not the same for you. And that imbalance creates exhaustion. You give more than you receive, and eventually it leaves you feeling empty. You are not an option that people turn to only when it is convenient. You deserve consistency. You deserve mutual effort. Think about it. Who in your life does this to you? Not in a dramatic way, but in small, repeated patterns. The moments that you brushed off, the things you chose not to question, the behavior you accepted because it felt easier than addressing it. These patterns do not appear suddenly. They build over time. And once you start noticing them, you begin to see your relationships differently, not with judgment, but with awareness. Respect starts the moment you stop accepting less. It is not about confrontation. It is about quiet decisions, the decision to no longer ignore what feels wrong, the decision to value your own time, your own voice, your own presence. When you change what you accept, you change what you experience. People adjust, situations shift, and even if some relationships change or fade, what you gain is something far more important: self-respect. The way people treat you is the standard you allow. Some realizations don't come loud, they settle in quietly. And once they do, they change the way you see everything. The way you respond, the way you allow people into your space, the way you protect your peace. And the truth is simple. The moment you start seeing your value clearly, everything around you begins to shift. Not because the world suddenly changes, but because you do. You stop accepting what once felt normal. You stop shrinking to fit into places that never respected you. And slowly you begin to create a life where respect is not something you chase, it becomes something that naturally surrounds you. Carry this awareness with you. Let it guide your choices, your boundaries, your silence, and your voice. Because the smallest changes in what you tolerate can lead to the biggest changes in how you are treated. And once you reach that point, there is no going back to the old version of yourself that stayed quiet and overlooked. If this opened your eyes even a little, stay connected, be part of this journey, like this video so more people can see it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today.